Hey, we're back. It's Space Harrier, the worst version. The Master System version. I had the volume way too loud for Ikari Warriors 2, so hopefully it's better this time. You know, I could test it, but we fly off the seat of our pants here. So let's give this a little try here, you know? This is the frame rate that you're dealing with here. Yeah. Oh my. The sprites, they are just going for it, aren't they? So, I've gone on record before saying that Space Harrier is not necessarily my favorite game ever. It's certainly not a bad game, but, you know, playing the absolute bottom of the barrel version of it ain't gonna help your opinion on it very much. This is very much an instance of, it was one of their bigger arcade classics, so they clearly had no choice but to port it over to their current home console of the Master System. It's a good lesson in saying, sometimes you gotta know when to say no. The Genesis version, much more playable. This version, well, you can see what's going on with this frame rate here. Space Harrier is already a game where it's kind of hard to hit things, just because of the odd perspective. But boy, you, okay, we ran into a tree and we died. How unfortunate. You add on to that the awful frame rate and the incredible, I say that very facetiously, the incredible sprite work that we've got going on here. Sprites just kind of like overriding each other. Let's run a little bit, am I right? And we've got an absolute mess of a release. You know, it's like, you want to play Space Harrier and all you have is a Master System? Well, this is your only option unless you go to the arcade. But is it worth it? At least we're setting a top score, hooray. Did that say Giza? Is this scuffed Egypt Giza? It reminds me a lot of the Super Nintendo port of Doom, where they were like, well, we can try, and then afterwards everyone's like, you shouldn't have tried. Admirable in the fact that they clearly had a lot of ambition trying to get the game onto this platform. Falls flat when you think about the fact that you have to, you know, actually play it. I'll say, thank God that the Genesis did get a rock-solid version of this game, because if the world were stuck with nothing but the Master System home conversion, we'd be in for a rough time. Hey, look at that, a high score. What do you know? Our name is clearly going to be Stu. So now we just get to attempt this many, many times. That's a beautiful main menu screen, I will give them that. Both buttons do the same thing as you may expect, because all you do is fly and shoot. And that's fine, you know, sweet simplicity, right? Nothing wrong with having a simple game that does one thing well. The problem is, it's like the mobile phone port of Oblivion. I'm not particularly good at it either. But I don't know how good you can be at Master System Space Harrier. You know, the whole game just kind of works against you. However, this is notably worse than anything I did last time. It's the kind of game where you really do have to keep moving, and I unfortunately, botch that every time. Things can run into you, you can get shot, you know, there's all kinds of things that can go very wrong in Space Harrier. It's a charming game in its own right. We're just, we're not getting it at its finest. Now, the most curious thing about this, though, is the notion that you could conceivably get Space Harrier to run on the Game Gear. The Game Gear and the Master System shared quite a few releases, actually. Oh, ran right into the side of that tree. That's a bad run right there. So, if it's true that the Game Gear has equivalent power to the Master System, you could get Space Harrier on the go. If it's this version, then maybe it's just not worth it. But I have I don't just have a feeling. We have historical backing that people are willing to lay off the fidelity of a game just for the opportunity to play it wherever they want. I mean, look at the Switch. Anybody who buys Doom Eternal on the Switch clearly values mobility far higher than I do. Always shoot, always move. Them's the rules I need to start adhering to. I don't know if you can get 2 of these in one phase. Like, it seems close, but it's not quite there. It's times like this when I really wish that my Master System emulator had a turbo button. Maybe it does and I just haven't, you know, I haven't looked well enough. My emulator, please, it's just RetroArch. Use the same emulator for everything. Ah, yes. Fire, walk with me. We did particularly badly there. Clearly, I need a jolt of some nice, water. That'll help me. It worked for the Looney Tunes and Space Jam, it'll work for me in Space Harrier. Just, you know, stay alive, shoot things, have yourself a time. What next? We're gonna get Star Fox running on the Super Nintendo? Yuck, yuck. See now, Star Fox, you can make a better case for that, because while that, too, has horrendous frame rate issues, it is, also not an arcade conversion. It's just a straight up, like, wow, how did they make this work at all kind of ordeal. Wow, I somehow didn't get the one on the side. Even though I thought I was shooting directly into its maw. Or that time. Reasonable music, but nothing that's blowing my doors off right now. It's just, you know... It's a goofy release, because it's a game that, provided we continue this series into the Genesis, we're gonna wind up playing this again in a much better sense, so... Why? Why are we doing this? Because we can! It's interesting to see niche releases like this. Cheapo, last-gen versions of games that are far too beefy to be working on the hardware. Like, I can't even tell what I'm supposed to be shooting at and what I'm supposed to be dodging. It's that much of a disaster right now. It's so ugly, the sprite layering. Even calling it sprite layering feels like more than it deserves. Yeah! Basically, you beat stage 1, you beat the built-in top score. It's that simple. Yeah, well, we just, we don't let that happen. Gotta stay on the side, you know, don't want to get crushed by some big old stone heads. Maybe there's a trick to aiming in this game, but I definitely don't know what it is. I'm just kind of crossing my fingers and hoping that I hit something every now and then. Oh my goodness, they're getting big, these heads. And now they're shooting at me. Fantastic. Ooh, I thought for sure that was gonna hit me. But it's all too abstract to know for sure, you know. Even without, you know, the sprites being as bad as they are in this version, what an odd game in terms of art direction. Right? Like, I guess it's only fitting that we have a game like this after we played Ikari Warriors 2. Brutal stuff here. These arcade games are kind of my least favorite inclusions in this series. Because, there's not a lot of progression to be made. Just kind of keep retrying the same general thing, like, repeatedly. Which, you know, one would say, hey, guess what? That's what arcade games are at their core, you dummy. So you can make the argument that they work absolutely perfectly for the format of this show. And once we get to stuff like Phantasy Star, you'll be like, wow, this doesn't work at all for this format. And I'll say, yeah, but that's what makes it unique. Remember, unique does not always mean good. Wow. The water is very cold. I took a big gulp of that and I get that almost like frostbite feeling in my throat. Oh, you live in a place that doesn't get particularly cold, you don't know the feeling? You've had ice cream. Imagine it. No, but there's a difference between, you know, drinking something cold and then feeling like the actual, like, legitimate chilly winter air suffocating you from the inside out. It's a terrible feeling. Any preconceived notions you have about winter being pretty, throw them out the window. It's a terrible thing. It's been snowing a lot this week. Like, we didn't get any snow until, like, the week of Christmas. And now it's just all over the place, and I get to deal with it. I took my snowblower to the driveway the first day it snowed, and since then I have just let it sit there, and it's just accumulating. And I know I'm gonna have to deal with it later, and it'll be so much worse because I didn't get off my ass about it the first time, but you know, it's just gonna snow again. It's the worst part about it. It's like, it doesn't go anywhere. It just keeps coming and keeps stacking up. There we go. Look at that. We're doing awfully decent this time. Awfully decent is the best thing I'll say about it, lest I curse myself. I'm always too scared to get in front of them. I'm like, I don't want to get absolutely smoked by them. There we go. There we go. Rack up some points. This is where you gotta start moving, because now they start shooting at you. Don't run into the pillars, you know? Fun fact, those are actually columns from the Sega game Columns. That is likely not an intentional reference. I'm just kind of, you know, adding 2 and 2 and coming up with 6. We're doing well, kind of. By that I mean we're functioning. Oh, what do we got here? Far too many sprites for me to pay attention to. Oh, that was it. Okay, I guess that that was just the stage 2 boss. An incredibly easy to deal with individual. Now we got mushrooms and all of that. Ooh, what's attacking us now? There we go. Boy, now I'm now when this game does come up next, I'm gonna be like, it's a whole new world. But you know, again, that won't be for quite some time. For now, you know, we just enjoy this very ugly game. Where we can't tell what's a projectile and what is something that we can pump full of our projectiles. Like in the mushroom motif, though, it's very nice. Oh, hey, that's our first death, though. That's kind of amazing, honestly. Toot my own horn a little bit about that. We've already got the boss of this stage, I think, too. It's just 2 dragons. Very nice. Do they share a health bar? Or do I gotta whittle each one of them down one at a time? I could see either being a I think they share a health bar. Let's not die. That's my battle plan for, you know, having a decent run, is not dying. Oh no! I got smacked right in the head. Well, that goes completely against my success plan. My plan for success. That's probably the order I should say it. That makes way more sense. Okay, they do not fully share health bars. No, not at all. Or maybe they do and one always dies after the other. No! It was a very good run compared to my other ones, but it sucks that I game overed there. Now again, it's dodging those incoming shots is a fool's errand. However, look at that score. Good job, Ryu. I mean, right away you can tell it's going to be a kind of oddball game, you know. But look at, seriously, can we just take a second to look at how majestic that logo is? Space Harrier. Look at that. They got like the shading on the colors and everything like that. It's not just a blank color. It pops. It's got some 3-dimensional space to it. That is an impressive logo for, you know, the most questionable version of Space Harrier. Am I really just gonna keep ragging on the quality of Sega Master System Space Harrier the entire time? Yeah. What do you think? I'm just gonna like give it a pass for no real reason? It's goofy that it exists. Yikes. May I say, even though I just said yikes, it absolutely drives me nuts if, like, you say something that someone doesn't like and then they just say yikes. It's like, yo, be constructive here. If you just heard something that you didn't necessarily agree with or you didn't like, oh, you can get 2 of them in one sweep. Tell somebody, don't just say yikes. It's so passive aggressive and it does not resolve conflict in any way. Really, I'm just getting less and less in tune with snark the older I get. I like seeing people who can be just very upfront with what's going on. Oh, I ran into the tree again. I like seeing people just be very upfront with what's going on. It's like, you know, use your words. Sarcasm and snark, they've been getting away from me. I don't find it all nearly as amusing as I did when I was younger. You know, and I grew up in the time where it was very, very in to wear shirts that said, sarcasm, it's my primary language, or stuff like that, or, why, yes, I am sarcastic, I don't know. I once got a gift from a family member. It was an incredibly tacky shirt. I don't even remember what it said. I never wore it. I, like, put it in a box and I said, well, we forget that this ever happened. It was just a bunch of words like, why, yes, I'm incredibly handsome. Yes, you may date me. And it's like, I don't know. It was just, it was garbage. I saw it and I was like, yeah, who do you think I am? Do I really strike you as the person who would wear this? It's like, I'm sure the intentions were better than I thought they were. But man, it was not impressive. I'll give you that much. I don't know if my face showed what I thought about it either, but I just kind of opened it and was like, my goodness, that's a thing. I mean, you know, graphic tees with words on them, they've never been particularly, you know, upper crust, so to say. You use your mouth to talk, you don't use your shirt to talk. I don't know. All I really wear are, like, band tees and hoodies. So what do I know about fashion? I'm a walking advertisement for extreme metal bands, you know? Funny story about that. It's not even a funny story, and it won't apply to most anyone. I actually own a shirt for the band that the guy behind Ghost Bath was in before Ghost Bath became a thing. I played a couple shows with him at one point there, so it's a little piece of completely forgotten memorabilia. You know, yeah, like that band, Eye Apparatus was their name. They never got nearly as big as Ghost Bath got / is getting. I don't know if Ghost Bath is like still gaining traction or what, but oh, come on. You hate that. Now I know you cannot fly over the trees in the mushroom stage. I probably could have guessed that. But I felt like I had to test it out, you know? I was like, I owe it to myself to confirm this. Of course, me going into tangents about extreme metal or anything like that is probably gonna fall on deaf ears. You know, it's like I made a joke. With my wife, I got an Emperor hoodie for Christmas, and I mentioned how, you know, oh yeah, they're, you know, one of the most popular black metal bands out there, and then I said, of course, being the most popular black metal band is like being the least popular thrash metal band in terms of popularity. You have your audience for sure, but it's you don't have a lot of reach, which is a shame. It is arguably my favorite genre of music, despite all the baggage that comes with it. If you're versed at all in the history of black metal, you very likely know what I'm talking about. If you don't, lot of murder, lot of terrible people, lot of questionable ideologies. But of course, like all genres of music, that's kind of painting it with a broad brush and putting it under the implication that there are not, oh, come on, reasonable people who don't fall under that banner. We made it there, but we couldn't get it. We've made it there a couple times. Well, I think it's just about time that we add ass to the scoreboard, you know? You always do it. There's always got to be at least one ass on a scoreboard somewhere. Another go! Because we have no choice. Like, I guess it's not that bad of a game. Like, the more I'm playing it, the more I'm like, well, it's been forever since I played actual Space Harrier, and all of my assumptions on it are based off of from when I played it, you know, probably like over a decade ago. And I'm like, maybe I'd enjoy it more if I played it today. Because this doesn't seem that awful. And this is, you know, Space Harrier at its lowest. Despite that, there is actually a Master System exclusive Space Harrier game. And we'll obviously get to it. You'll see what I'm talking about when we get there. But for now, we gotta just hold steady and maintain course. Oh, I could have sworn that I would have gotten the one on the left in that volley. Good start. Good start. Now this should be the boss. It is indeed. I wish I was playing Great Baseball right now. Yes, I'm still stunned and shocked by Great Baseball. See that guy dies easy. It's the Double Dragons. Double Dragon, that's a game we'll have to play someday. Have to, I say. I say have to as if it's some, like, terrible game. I own all 3 NES Double Dragon games, actually. Bit of a connoisseur, as it were, and then I don't own any of the rest of them. Although, most everyone will tell you that those first 3 are the ones that are really worth owning. Battletoads vs. Double Dragon is one I'd like to pick up at some point. And Double Dragon 5, I don't ever hear people talk about it. I assume it's awful, but specifically because I never hear people talk about it. But I'd like it for completion's sake. Completionism's sake. Avoided a lot of danger there. It's just the more I look at the sprites and the artwork and everything surrounding this game, the weirder it gets. Okay, well I ran directly into opposing fire right there. I suppose that's my fault. But again, you know, these sprites, they're splaying over each other. There's so much going on screen. I'm just gonna keep hitting you with excuses until the cows come home. When do the cows come home? And oh, what? I was shooting. And then the boss battle just ends. Great. Is that... Do you literally just have to shoot through and, like, fly through, make a way through? Is that how that one works? I feel like I haven't been paying attention, you know, I just kind of shoot manically and then hope that something functions. And typically, that's been getting me where I need to be. Except for, you know, the times when it doesn't. Just appreciate the music for a little bit, you know, take in the sounds. Every now and then, me shutting up isn't that bad of a thing, you know? Gives you a second to just kind of take in the full atmosphere of the game. And that's what I'm going to say to Lampshade, the fact that sometimes I just kind of zone out and forget to talk. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Give me boss. I need to prove myself. I got everything to prove. Yeah, here we go. Let's take him on one more time. And probably instantly die. No instant death here. Once you see just like even a change of color in the distance, it's time to start running and panicking. That's when you know they're starting to hurl just disgusting looking fireballs at you. Every time I play Space Harrier, I always think of Game Sack. If you've ever watched Game Sack, it's a very enjoyable channel, you know, just an awkward dude, formerly two of them, just talking about old video games. And I'm not saying awkward as a way of throwing shade. I mean, they're just a couple old goofballs. Not like old, but, you know, old enough to have, you know, played Space Harrier when they were kids. As far as gamers go, old guard kind of guys. Not like playing MUDs over a like suction cup phone modem. Old. Hey, we did it! We did it! Look at that! That's okay. Sea seal? Whoa! The floor is the ceiling. Well, now I most certainly don't know what's going on. Oh no. This is a perfect example of putting far too much on the screen at a time. Like, I just gotta stop shooting. For a brief moment. Oh man, I thought I was gonna eat it there. Because we can't bust these things open, I'm pretty sure. It's an absolute nightmare. Hey, we shot something down. That's a nice welcome change. Is that it? Is that the zone? Yeah. Give me a boss now. Oh, look at this. We got all sorts of mechs. No, he hit me. Okay. Gotta give them some space when they start coming into the foreground. But again, depth perception, it's a problem in this game. Oh, yeah. What are we gonna name it this time? This is the best one by far. Oh, okay, our name is now, Cov. No more water. It's my goal to burn 5 minutes of this video drinking water. But again, see? That's that classic improvement I keep talking about. You keep giving yourself a few tries, you'll get a little further every time as you learn things. As you yourself improve as a gamer. I read this article that was, like, dating back the original use of the term gamer, and it was this, like... that's awful! Dying in level 1? Atrocious. It was this, like, notice posted in a paper somewhere in, like, 1450 or something like that. You know, they didn't really have, like, newspapers back then or anything, I don't believe. But, it was a, like, notice to the town saying that anybody harboring, gamers, of course referring to, you know, card players and whatnot, and dice players and whatnot, so that anybody harboring gamers would be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, and, of course, the, caption for it just said, see? Ever since the very beginning, gamers have been persecuted. And it made me laugh a fair bit. Well, you know, that's great. I kept shooting, but, I just got, ran right into. You can only have it seems like an inconsistent amount of shots you can have on screen at any given time. This is the regression point of the video, you know? This is that obligatory point where we just completely shit the bed. Give me the Dargan. Yeah. Quit spitting all over the place, man. Speaking of spit and fire, ordered myself some hot sauces. I've always enjoyed spicy food, but I've never gone out of my way to like order like good hot sauces. Like, yeah, you can find like Tabasco and Frank's Red Hot and like a Cholula and stuff in the grocery store. And there's nothing wrong with those sauces. They're good sauces. But you know, they're a little on the baby side. All of them. It's like this is your grandma's hot sauce here. I ordered a few that I read some very good things about. The first one was a secret aardvark, which I've heard people say is like the big what's in right now hot sauce. So there we go. I'll be part of the mainstream finally. I got Purple Hippo. I believe it's a Trinidad Scorpion hot sauce, and it's made with prickly pear juice from the prickly pear cactus. Made with that as, oh man, already game over. As well as, you know, a little bit of strawberry and stuff like that. So a fruit base. And the fact that it's a scorpion hot sauce means, of course, it's just going to be insane. I can probably handle it though. I had some pucker butt at my in-laws' place, and I had no problem with that. I was containing that just fine. So Purple Hippo should be a-okay. Then I also got Lottie's Scotch Bonnet Red. A red sauce made with Scotch Bonnet. Lottie's makes apparently very good authentic Barbados hot sauce. They got a very just kind of homemade looking label that charmed me. You know, it's not like those goofy like illustrations like I know there's a hot sauce called Zombie Apocalypse, and it's just like super corny as you would expect. It's, you know, got like almost comic book-esque zombie figures on it. But no, this Lottie's, it's literally just like the name Lottie's and then a little outline of Barbados. And that's about it. And I thought, well, that's charming. It looks like something that you'd find at like a farmer's market that somebody like just printed out and taped to the side of the bottle. So I hope that that's good too. I hope they're all good, you know. It's just, you know, hot sauce, it's a very easy way of taking foods that may be on the more boring side and giving them a relatively healthy little pick-me-up, you know? Some people are like, oh, too much hot sauce, that can really damage you. It's like, yeah, but that's like if you're like burning holes in your throat with like pepper X extract. Obviously, if you're at the point where you're getting like acid reflux stuff from it like that, then yeah, you should probably lay off of it. But it's like most people say, it's perfectly fine for you until it isn't. And you'll notice signs that you're not adapting to it well far before it does any long-term damage. I don't know why I'm here justifying eating hot sauce to a bunch of strangers on the internet, you know. It's just something to talk about, you know? I just have to go into like full standing in the shower mode when I do these videos, you know, just like let my mind wander and then just talk about stuff, have little arguments with myself. That's the ticket, that's the secret. And you're all the completely fake human beings that I've made up in my head to justify the saying words. Wish I wouldn't have lost that life in level 1. That was a real dumb death. It's put me in a notably worse position, as one may expect from dying. Okay, you can pretty much safely get in front of that line of big stone heads now. I respected them a little too much for a little too long. You may say that respect is never a bad thing. It is when you're respecting a sprite in a like 35-year-old game. It's the quickest math I've ever done. And it was wrong at that, too. No, no, it wasn't. Pretty sure. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. 35 years old, 1986. So, okay, sorry. 34 years old, but it's close enough. We round up here. This is a rounding up channel. As such, I would like to round up and declare that I have made it to 1 million subscribers. Thank you all. I like how that almost sounds like the first track in Doom. Doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. But then it takes a little swerve instead of going full. See, I was so busy imitating the Doom theme song that I just totally ate it on the Stoneheads. It's fine, though. We're filling up, though. We have completely filled up the high scoreboard. Hey! We probably did that last time, but you know. More like I sleep. Hit him with a triple Z. No words. I mean, like, literally, I didn't say anything and then that happened. You know, it's like you want to be aggressive and rack up the points, but you also want to be safe and not die. Because you can see how the points work, you know, the further you make it, your points just keep going up and up and up and up. So let's talk about something else completely unrelated to Space Harrier, because let's be real, there's nothing more that I can really say about this game at this point. It's time to get on that topic of degenerate weeb shit again, because I got some things I need to say and no one to say it to. I do keep up with a degree of seasonal anime. I don't watch every single show because nobody has enough time on the planet for that, except like high schoolers. But I usually watch about 7 new shows a season, which you know, it's basically it's enough to watch like a new episode every night, and it's fun. One of them I watched was The Day I Became a God, which is one of those shows that started off strong, had about like 9 or so episodes of just being not game-changing, but just pretty fun. And then the last couple episodes came and everybody was just done. They were like, nah. Took a pretty bizarre turn. Not a particularly well-told twist turn. And then the final episode came and, you know, everybody was like, oh, well, that was the worst show of the season. But that gets me to thinking then, if you have 9 episodes of acceptable fun content, and you ended off with 3 episodes of a bad ending and a bad, like, direction, does that make the overall show bad? I don't think it does. Like, I think you still have to consider the time spent enjoyed with the other episodes. It's the exact same issue that Darling in the Franxx had when that aired. People loved the first 15 episodes, and then after that, it went absolutely off the rails. I personally don't mind how off the rails it went. I thought that it was charming in a batshit bizarre way. But even if you didn't like the direction that it took after that, you still gotta factor in the parts you liked, right? There are a lot of great movies out there, too, that, you know, they're a great ride, and then it ends, and then you're like, well, what the hell was that? If we want to look at the video game sector, Mass Effect 3, extremely fun game, you know, the culmination of 2 other fun games leading up to it, and the ending was awful. And so many people were so focused on the ending and how the ending did not deliver. Everyone was like, wow, most disappointing game ever released. It's like, was it though? Because y'all seemed to like it leading up to that point. The most disappointing game ever would just have to be, like, generally flaccid the entire time, I would think. Okay, so I think we just let this thing pass us by. Yeah, that's what we do. We just let it pass. produce a hole that we can lodge ourselves into. Yes, I chose those words very deliberately. I don't know, so it's not even specifically an anime-centric proposition that I'm bringing up, but if something is mostly good and then ends off bad, does that ruin the entire thing? I don't think so. I know some people, though, some people are very much the destination is more important than the journey. I'm the opposite. If you can have a real fun time getting somewhere and then you get there and then it's just not that great, hey, you still had a lot of great memories tied to it, right? Now, if the journey sucked and then the destination was also boring, well, that's a whole other story, obviously. Then, you know, that's just filled with nothing really great. Likewise, though, if the journey is dull and then it culminates in something truly wonderful at the end, I think don't get too caught up in how good the ending was. Factor in that the rest of it was kind of a drag. But that rarely happens. Generally, if you see a movie or a TV show or a video game or something that isn't good, it's very rarely going to be the case that it's saved by the ending, right? Usually, media that isn't good ends poorly as well. It's just a general rule of thumb. But it's hard to grade things objectively, you know? It's easy to get super subjective and just be like, I thought it was trash because it's my opinion. While we're on that, I've probably gone on this rant before, but hear me out again. I hate when you're in a debate with somebody and you're like making points back and forth and then they just close the book by saying, well, that's your opinion. It's like, yes, of course it is. Are you just like saying, I'm done talking about this because your opinion? It's like you're saying that it's not worth discussing because opinions are not worth like, adjusting to and discussing and all that. It's like, please, opinions are just as worth it as anything else. Okay, this stage is an absolute nightmare, by the way. We've already been over that. Like, you see something in the distance and you're like, is it gonna be to my right or is it gonna be to my left? You don't know until it's right in front of your face. I'm amazed we shot one of those down, to be honest. But no, I'm like, if you're like, that's just your opinion, I immediately get the impression that you're getting very salty about what we're talking about. And you're like, I don't want to continue this conversation because your opinion differs from mine. Well, that was an awful way to handle that that stage. Just sad stuff right there. We're gonna name this one after one of the modern greats in doom metal. This one goes out to Yob. Good job, Yob. You're the second best. Right behind Chemist, of course. Oh! Nah, that's a bad comparison. Chemists are more of a more lighthearted stoner doom. Yob are more of a crush your lungs kind of doom. Like, hey, here's an album with 3 songs, but the album is like 70 minutes long. Chemists are more like, it's Queens of the Stone Age, but a little more metally. That's a terrible, terrible, like a comparison, by the way. They're nothing like Queens of the Stone Age. That's, I mean, they're a little more on the rocky side, you know? By rocky, I don't mean bad, as in, oh, that got rocky. I mean, as in, you know, traditional rock music. I can say these things because nobody in this comment section has ever listened to Yob or Chemist. Check them both out. If you've ever had any interest in doom metal of any kind, even if you haven't, you know, listen to what I tell you to do. Your life will be enriched. When I tell you to stream immolation, you stream immolation, damn it. Look at him run. This dude's got stamina. Yeah. It's like playing Metal Gear Solid on a calculator. It's probably been done, right? Yo, no joke, actually, Metal Gear Solid got a Game Boy Color game. In pretty much every other region, it was called Metal Gear Solid Ghost Babel, which, you know, distinguished it as its own game. But in the US, it was just called Metal Gear Solid, and it was for the Game Boy Color, which leads people to think that it's a port of PS1 Metal Gear Solid, but it's not. It is its own completely distinct game, and it kicks ass. Like, you wouldn't think so from being a Game Boy Color game, you know, one of the most shovelware-prone handhelds up to that point. Full of just licensed garbage, and no, it got an actual incredible Metal Gear Solid game on it. You might say, oh, you mean incredible for the hardware, right? And I'm like, yo, it was just a really solid game. Maybe we'll see it one day in the distant future on this channel, who knows? But we don't count our chickens before they hatch here. I actually do. I do that all the time. I always talk about the distant future, because it's fun. Isn't the present fun? Yeah, the present's fun. Despite this being, you know, the worst version of Space Harrier, I'm starting to think that maybe my initial assessments of what I thought about Space Harrier, which again were based off playing it many years ago, I'm beginning to think maybe I was a little wrong. Like, I'm kind of looking forward to playing the Genesis version at some point to, you know, play Space Harrier, but decent. We haven't died yet, which is awesome. What is that thing in the middle? Does that always spawn there? It's gotta, right? We just always kill it so early that we never see it. Or, you know, it's just always getting covered by every other sprite on the planet. Both good suggestions. Oh, there's no winning that. I had to go talking about how, like, yeah, man, I haven't even died. Ah! Immediately. Weren't I in 1987, actually? Don't ask me how that came up. I was thinking about the year that this specific game came out, and then I'm pretty sure that, I thought it was 1986, but I'm pretty sure it's 1987, you know, I could be wrong about everything. Wow. Well, that's the worst that stage has ever gone for me. I just couldn't keep it together. That's questionable. Because it's questionable, we're just gonna be an ellipsis. Am I good to drink water? Okay, I think I can take some water. I thought I accidentally started it too early. But no. It's all good. I like how, with all of those shots, I managed to shoot none of those down. Absolutely the biggest problem with this game. This version of this game, rather. Maybe the normal Space Harrier has that same issue too. But I have a feeling it's much better because, you know, it wouldn't be as fondly remembered and constantly re-released as it is if it wasn't notably better than this. Oh, wanted to get 2, only got 1. There we go. That's how you get cute. I can't tell if destroying the trees gets me points or not. Oh, it does, I think. Seems like an easy way to, you know, score some moolah. It's not really money because you can't spend it, you know. May I say, that was the greatest thing about Neopets, was converting your points that you get in the garbage little flash games there into currency. Easily the most enticing thing about that entire website, and a big reason why I played it as a kid. I clearly wasn't very good with the Neopets meta, like I didn't have any rare paint brushes or anything. I was poor, I was a lower class Neotopian. No doubt about it. I wish that someone would, like, release classic Neopets, because it still exists, but it's got a new UI, and it's mostly the same, but you know, it's a little mildly different, and I can't do mildly different. Are you kidding me? Miss me with that I'm slightly different thing. I need it just the way it was when I was 12 years old, you know? How can I starve my Neopets when the map of Neopia looks a little bit different? I always like the tale that Neopets was bought out by a bunch of like Scientology investors. Scientologist, like investors, I guess I can say. And some people argue to this day if they had any real impact on how the website went after that. Some people say, oh yeah, they put a little hints of Scientology into the lore behind the Grundles, and I'm like, well, I don't know if they did though. I think that... I mean, at least I don't see it. And if I don't see it, there's no way that a little kid's gonna see it. I think that was the main concern, is people are like, wow, we're Scientologists trying to brainwash kids with Neopets? It's like... doubt it. If they made any references to Scientology at all, most kids probably said, oh wow, that's how the Neopets think, and it's probably stopped there. Bad little run-in with a column there. Not the first time, hopefully the last. Yeah, destroy everything. I was trying to shoot, but I must have ran out of, you know, ran out of space bullets. Stage 3, MR. We did really bad here last time, and we've already gimped ourselves by losing some lives. We shot one of them down by pure dumb luck. I'm just focusing really hard. I don't want to game over before time is up. I gotta hold out for another minute and a half here. It's harder than it looks, man. Or maybe it looks hard. I don't know. Okay, we're staying alive. You can sing Bee Gees if you want. I'm not gonna stop you, but keep it to the comfort of your own home. That's terrible. I wanted to live until the very end. But, you know, if it's within a minute, I'm fine with calling time on it. It's whatever. That's Space Harrier on the Master System for you. We'll see Space Harrier again in the future, probably in multiple different forms. But for now, that's our first introduction to it. It's, you know, as a game, I think it's fine, possibly, but again, it's so hard to gauge when you're playing this version of it. You know, it's just like how 1942 is way better if you're playing it on the Capcom's Arcade Collection on the PS2 rather than the NES. It's like It's a good game, but it's not a particularly good way to play the game. Either way, it is what it is. It's Space Harrier. It's where we are in life. But tomorrow, we move on from Space Harrier and we play a game called Quartet. I've never played Quartet. I know very, very little about Quartet, and that is all very exciting to me. I should have mentioned, by the way, Space Harrier was developed and published by Sega, but you probably already knew that. Very little new under the sun right there. Either way, thank you, as always, for joining me for another episode of this ridiculous series. I hope to see you next time when we play Quartet. Until then, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.